Hey guys, and welcome back to another Sheffield Steelers guy video. Now obviously the off season has started and I am making a schedule of every single video that I'm going to make over the off season. Over the off season I've got a really cool series coming up where we make jersey concepts for all 10 teams. All of the 10 teams have been shown their concepts already and have been tagged in them, and the Steelers have already seen theirs and replied to it. I'm not going to tell you what they said, but it's pretty insane. So, we today are going to choose the best players from all of the 10 teams this season. Now, the ruling is on Steelers Guy that with each team you choose 2 players that have played best for that team. Now, it was fairly difficult. These are players who I think have played well. Obviously, you guys can say who you think have played well. So without further ado, let's get into this video with the first set of players going from Manchester all the way to Sheffield. Now, for the Manchester Storm, it was probably the easiest option ever. I have gone for Alexis Daoust. Now, Alexis has played really well for the Storm. I think he's been their top scorer. In every single game that he plays, I see on Flash Score that he's either assisted a goal or scored a goal. He is such a good player for Manchester. But the question is, are Manchester going to have to put loads of money on the table to have to keep him for 25-26? Obviously, with how good he is, I think other Elite League teams might hop on to get him for next season. It really just depends. But Manchester would have to put a lot on the table to get him back to Manchester next season. So for Manchester, I have gone with Alexis Daoust. I could have gone for Evan Wenninger, but I decided not to in the end. Okay, for the Coventry Blaze, and with our first 2 players, the first player is Chase Greasock. Now, Chase Greasock is a great player for the Coventry Blaze. I think half of the players on the Coventry Blaze this year are really good players. And Chase Greasock is another name down in Steelers upset history as well, because he ended our title hope. So if he's back at Blaze next year, somebody please hit him hard to the odds. But in all honesty, Chase Greasock is a great player, and the Blaze would have been 10th if it wasn't for this goalie who gets the second spot. It is Matt Robson, ladies and gentlemen. I think he's played amazing. He's a really good goalie this year, and I think Blaze should have him back next season. Maybe he could get better next season, but I think this season he's just been really good to get the Blaze into where they are. You would have thought it would have been better in the second game of that playoff quarterfinal, maybe getting the Blaze into the semi-finals, but the Blaze just still have it their way to get into the quarterfinals. So Matt Robson gets the second Blaze spot. Moving on, we now go on to the Guilford Flames, and taking the first spot for the Guilford Flames is Matt Alvaro. Now, the amount of times I have seen Matt Alvaro score this season, he is insane. He is such a good goalie, and to think the Panthers have Matt Alvaro and Guilford have Matt Alvaro is really weird. It's like Panthers just saw Alvaro and just thought, you know what, we're going to get an Alvaro. But Matt Alvaro is good, but he is nowhere close to Ethan Strang, ladies and gentlemen. He has been so good for Guilford this year. Guilford need to keep him. Ethan Strang has been such a good player for Guilford this season. I think he's scored there were one time where he was scoring in every single game, and I looked at Flash Score and I said, of course it's him. It's obviously going to be him who scores, isn't it? So Ethan Stratton gets the Guilford Flames number 2 spot. For the Fife Flyers, it was hard. It was really hard because they've had some real good players who have stepped up. But instead of giving it to 2 players, I have given it to every single one of those players. You know, players were walking out and going to different teams because of how bad Fife were playing. But 5 players who stayed all the way to the end deserve every bit of credit, especially Lucas Chiodo for going through all that as well. But 5 players, all of them get it because of just how, you know, courageous and resilient they've been this season. They've not given up. They've caused some upsets. They've still played hockey to their best potential. All players deserve it for 5. So, for the Glasgow Clan, well, the first person was obvious. It was obvious I was going to choose this person, and it is Mitchell Hurd, everybody. Now, I don't like his celebration. His celebration actually makes me very angry when he does that. Like, yeah, we can all hear you, duh. But Mitchell Hurd is a real good player for Glasgow, and he's one of the players Glasgow need to keep for next season. Now, sometimes he can be a bit of a weirdo on the ice, but most of the time Mitchell Hurd is a real good player for Glasgow, and he can come up in some big moments, as well as Cole Ulley, who is the second player I have chosen for Glasgow. I think Cole Ulley's played really well at Glasgow, and he played really well at Cardiff as well. Now, it depends whether if Cole Ulley's going to stay at Glasgow, is he going to go maybe back to Cardiff, or is he going to go somewhere else? I wouldn't mind having Cole Ulley on the Steelers. I would be like, okay, we can deal with him. For the Dundee Stars, I have gone with Brendan Harms for the first one. I think Brendan Harms is a real good player for the Dundee Stars. Now, there have been rumours that he might retire at the end of the season. I don't know why I'm saying at the end of the season when the season's literally just ended. If he does retire, he bloody deserves it, and so does Dryden Dow. Dryden Dow, great captain for the Dundee Stars. It's a shame, really, that they're not going to get to lift any trophies, Dundee, because I would love to see Dryden Dow lift one up. The only reason I like Dryden Dow is because he literally scored the first goal for Dundee on their first meeting against Steelers, and that's the only goal I can remember from last season. So Dryden Dow and Brendan Harms get Dundee. For Cardiff, it was really difficult. I had to look at their top scorers, but I have gone with Joey Martin and Josh McDonald for the Cardiff Devils. Joey Martin is such a good player. He is such a good player. The question is, though, is he going to stay at Cardiff next season, or is he finally going to move on? You know, all these players coming back this season, all the old players, it's like David Goodwin coming back to Belfast again halfway through the season, when last season he came back to Belfast again halfway through the season. It's just really weird why David Goodwin keeps coming back to Belfast. He obviously enjoys it there, so I don't know why he leaves, because he can't cope anywhere else. But Josh McDonald is such a good player, man. Have you seen him? He is such a good player. I absolutely flipping love Josh McDonald. Joey Martin I also like, so I have a soft spot for Cardiff on that list. Okay, for the Nottingham Panthers, it was really hard. I could have chose either Tim Doherty, Jason Grandet, Mitchell Fossier. I could have even chose Sam Herr if I wanted to. But in the end, I went for Jason Grandet and Mitchell Fossier. Fossier is such a good player for Panthers, and he will return to Nottingham next season. To say he was a mid-season signing and he's put so many points up, I remember him and God back in January were going toe-to-toe for points. Jason Grandet, on the other hand, another mid-season signing, and he has played so well for Nottingham. I think he's one of the best netminders in the league this season. On regards of the argument between Greenfield and Jason Grandet being the best netminders in the league, I think Greenfield slightly edges Jason Grandet. Obviously, Greenfield's been for Steelers more. Grandet joined halfway through the season. So we'll have that debate next season if Greener comes back. For the Belfast Giants, and you'll be shocked at who I chose for this, Bobo Carpenter and Jackson Whistle get my vote. Bobo Carpenter plays so well. He's such a good player. If I was a Steelers fan and somebody was to ask me, who would I take from the Belfast Giants? I wouldn't say Scott Conway, which, by the way, there's rumours going around that Scott Conway could be joining Sheffield next year. Is he going to? No, he's not. He hates us. Get that idea out your head. But Bobo Carpenter, I'll happily have you in Sheffield. And to make matters easier, Jackson, come over to Sheffield and then you can play with our brother. That's the only trade we are offering you. And finally, for the Sheffield Steelers, this one's a bit biased because you know I love Patrick Watling. So I've gone with Mitchell Balmus, Patrick Watling, and a special mention to Matthew Greenfield. Now, Mitchell Balmus hasn't been as good as last season, but that was expected in a way. We weren't expecting him to repeat last season in any way, but Mitchell Balmus has still been there in the key moments. He scored the first goal in that playoff quarter-final second leg, and it was game on. Patrick Watling won that game. He won that game. And yeah, we didn't win the playoffs, but who cares? Watling still scored that goal. Watling carried on the season. The season could have ended there, and we would have had to watch other teams in the playoff semi-finals. But no, Watling gave us a chance to go and win that silverware. For Matt Greenfield, he was injured in Berlin. And Berlin, I hate you for that. Berlin. But Matt Greenfield came back and he played his heart out. He played his heart out so much to try and help the Steelers win the league, to try and help the Steelers win the cup, to try and help the Steelers win the playoffs. He's been there and he's tried and tried and tried and tried. And yeah, he weren't as good as he were last season, but he was injured. So, there you go. But he's tried. That's the thing. He tries and tries, and I would love to see him back next season. And I'd love to see Warburton back next season as well. Anyway, guys, who are your top players on your list for the 10 teams? Tomorrow, we will be reacting to a Sheffield Steelers guy video from 9 months ago where I predicted the Elite League standings, and some of the stuff I say in that video are out of my mind. If you guys have enjoyed this video, give it a like and of course subscribe. Go and follow my Twitter account at Steelers Guy YouTube. The YouTube on the end has 2 T's, not 1. Share my jersey concept. Get the Steelers to actually make it for next season. Let's have a fan-designed jersey next season. And if you guys have enjoyed this video, give it a like and of course subscribe. That is it from Steelers Guy. Anybody for Belfast?